Boom! This is a boy Ras. Make sure you tune in to the Lion Voice blog and the YouTube. Make sure you click that bell right there and subscribe on the thing, alright? I give a lot, but I ain't giving up, cause I know my time must go. Swah!
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the Lion's Voice.
Yeah, man. Greetings, Ras Tafari, Haile Emperor, the King Selassie, the first, the perfect balance, Empress Menin. This is first man for Ras Tafari Indigenous Village, recognizing, accepting, promoting Lion Voice. Yes, the voice of Rastafari, speaking about Rastafari, educating Rastafari, preserving, protecting Rastafari. Give thanks.
Aye, Rastafari, mighty.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega, representing for all lions and lionesses. With the Lion's Voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the Lion's Voice, Rastafari.
Yes, job people, this is Michael Shemai representing. I will say, Haile Lion Voice, saying it is time for the lions and the lionesses to tell their own story. King David killed Goliath with a stone, we original dread.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
Blessed love, this is Rashala representing for the Lion Voice. Saying, yeah man, keep it locked right there, sir. On to Zion we go. Lion Voice don't move slow, no. Rastafari rules and reigns, and we're going where the blessings flow. Keep it locked right there, sir. Saying, Rashala said that. Lion's Voice.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up Lion's Voice. Now put it, I jolly for say that.
America over English, real Ethiopian, me no British, go tell them. Grrrrma wheat, etegremenen, Hamarina Kwanka Fidel teach my children. Them teach me English, Amharic is my preference. When my heights and my black my reverence. About touching no, I best my ye me nor. See me, ye can desmond gish teeth in ta. Prepare the best my ye in the one chin the ube me dear. Tihun ye let in jara chinin. Satin zare. Kai mok is sat it at. Lion Voice. One voice and the Lion Voice. Time for the lion and the lioness voices to be heard. Log in and don't log off. Lion Voice. Kwasi. One. Lion Voice. I it.
Well, Lion Voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion Voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion Voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion Voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion Voice.
Jano, I'm so hungry, bro. I haven't eaten all day. Like, my head started to hurt me too. Like, what now could I eat right now?
What about a city samosa? Get your samosa, a fusion of Indian, Jamaican, and African culture. City samosas, the best samosas in the city.
The biggest reggae cultural event, Rebel Salute,
is finally coming to the United States.
Rebel Salute 2025, Sunday, September 28th.
With live performances by Tony Rebel,
Maxi Priest,
Queen Africa, Mikey Spice, Louis Culture,
Michael Rose, Chalice,
Lux, Rebel Clan, and more Florida-based acts.
Special dope plate showcased by Dynamic.
Taking place at the Miramar Regional Park in Miramar, Florida.
Doors open 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Get your tickets now at RebelSaluteUSA.com.
The second beast was given the power to give breath unto the image of the first beast so that the image could speak, and caused all who refused to worship the image to be killed. It also forced the people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive the mark on their right hands and in their forehead. Gone down in the new world order, new world order. I feel work harder, I feel pray harder. Babylon them coming with them microchip, and them prison cell, that's new slave ship. New world order, new world order. I feel work harder, I feel pray harder. Babylon them coming with them microchip, and them video game, that's new matrix. It's a new world order. Them start bleaching, diverse doctrine, them start preaching. Angels for the stars they're reaching, they're falling, never hear the lion calling. New world order, them fight against the poor. Machine and robot that sweep them floor. Machine and robot that run them stores. So them create disease ones without any fear. The new world order, new world order. I feel work harder, I feel pray harder. Babylon them coming with them microchip, and them prison cell, that's new slave ship. New world order, new world order. I feel work harder, I feel pray harder. Babylon them coming with them microchip, and them video game, that's new matrix. It's a new world order. Them pan cell phone, families don't even talk in their home. Village farmers get murdered by drones. Village mistress get murdered by stones. New world, so you better call Tyrone. Tell him prepare to use the whole earth a war zone. New world, Satan must feed the throne. So be no sex and dust and leave him alone. The new world order, new world order. I feel work harder, I feel pray harder. Babylon them coming with them microchip, and them prison cell, that's new slave ship. New world order, new world order. I feel work harder, I feel pray harder. Babylon them coming with them microchip, and them video game, that's new matrix. It's a new world order. Check the energy, make it so hard to go have a family. Man, woman and child, well that are the trinity. Preserve the bloodline, Solomonic dynasty. Vatican them say you beat at them malice and them thief. Harvest and them reap for the global elite. That's when the elder him said, don't you weep. The lion destroyed them by the words that he speak. The new world order, new world order. I feel work harder, I feel pray harder. Babylon them coming with them microchip, and them prison cell, that's new slave ship. New world order, new world.
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie the First. Glory and honor in the name of his chosen queen, Empress was Zero Menen. My name is Kwasi Bonsu, aka the Dejazmatch Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man, a creative industry attorney. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of Lion Voice Live. Welcome to Lion Voice Live and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where the lions are telling our own story. Today's episode, we're talking about focus in the midst of chaos. You know, we're looking at the geopolitical chessboard, and we're seeing a lot of movement, a lot of activity. There's a lot of things. It can be information overload. And this episode, we want to focus on what is important. We just had the African Union CARICOM Summit in Addis Ababa. We're going to be showing some footage and going over some footage for that. The repatriation, the chant is becoming a reality. The connections are being made. I want to do all of this to ensure that the family, that we don't get weary. I'm talking to workers all over the world. You know, I'm doing Rastafari independent media. It's been a blessing for I, because I get to talk to Rastafari from all over the world, and everywhere is saying the same thing. You know, the community used to be so mighty, and you know, there's still a chosen few, but is that weariness. You know, we chant, don't get weary, and life will beat you up. You know, the youth say life is lifing. You know what I mean? Life will life, tribulation, you know what I mean? Distrust, things happen, you know, disappointment. All these things have taken set globally. And on top of that, now we're having political assassinations. You know, we had a major conservative figure assassinated here in the United States. You have drone incursion over in Poland, threat of NATO going on the battlefield against Russia, World War III. You know, we've been saying it already started, but, you know, potential red lines being crossed. We had a radical strike in Qatar. You know, the whole landscape, Sudan is on fire. We had the inauguration of the Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, which was conceived during His Majesty time, but finally completed. We had so much things that are coming at us in the news, and what my message is for the Rastafari family is focus. And what am I talking about when I say focus? I'm talking about focus on what we are, who we are, because every single thing that Rastafari stated from the beginning has become ultra relevant in this time. Every striking thing that the elders them stand. If you look at all the essential pillars of Rastafari, they are more relevant than ever. What has happened though is in that struggle for survival and establishing these principles, we were brutalized. We were not able to establish the institutions that would allow us to create an economic base and therefore to create sustainability. So great poverty afflicted the movement, and we're going to talk about reparations when we talk about the AU CARICOM Summit. That was the theme. We're going to go into the AU CARICOM Summit tonight. If you're just joining us, we're talking about focus and the need for the Rastafari movement to focus and consolidate. You know, this is big people, adult reasoning time. I know it's not exciting, entertainment, all of them things, but this is pull up your pants and put on your shirt and roll up your sleeves and let's get to work. I'm a Gideon. You know, that's the time we're in. So we want to tonight again talk about focus. We're talking about what Rastafari needs to do. We're going to put forward some proposals as well. And I want this to be a reasoning. So Lion Pride, as the item come in, jump in the comments. Let us know where you're commenting from. Let us have that reasoning. I know that most of the audience for the Lion Voice Live is on the replay. However, in the comment section, let's continue this reasoning. Any comments that you have, works that you're doing that you need to be plugged in. That's one of the reasons that we have this platform. You notice we are just reason with Ras Aymanai from St. Vincent. You know what I mean? We're bringing in all of the different regions, the workers from the different regions. We're introducing them to the family so that we can have collaboration. You know what I mean? Because what's going to happen is that you may not have a lot of people in one region to execute a work, but those workers can link with workers from a next region, can link with workers with the next region, and now you have the numbers, the capital, the critical mass to execute the work. So that's what we're going to be reasoning about. One of the things, how we're going to crumple and dismantle the challenges brought about by you may not have serious people in your region, in your city or in your town. You may be the only person that thinks this way. We're creating that light-minded community here on the Lion Voice Network of people who see, the prophecy said, who have eyes, let them see, who have ears, let them hear. And some of us see it's loud, like a loudspeaker, what's happening, the signs and the wonders. But you may not have people around you that even sight up where you sighting up. They may want to party. They may be looking to go to the next festival. They're enjoying themselves. The job is, the paycheck is coming on time. So they're all right. You know what I mean? They're not checking for the larger thing of what's happening right now in the world. But some of us, have to prepare, those who know what the time is. It would be foolish to sit down and watch when you know where the movie is going. Did you ever watch a movie and you know where the movie is going? It'd be foolish to sit down and you in the movie and you know that the destruction is coming, like a horror movie, and you see, don't go in there, and you sit down and you go there with them. That don't make no sense. So for those of us who know where this movie ends, we have to prepare, and we're sounding the trumpet to the four corners of creation, and the people have responded. The lion pride is growing. Right now we're about to cross 54,000 fire angels in the lion pride. You know what I mean? Let me check if we cross over 54,000. Right now we're moving, and the thing I love is that we didn't stop. You know what I mean? We're at 53,991, 9 more people. By the end of this broadcast, we'll be at 54,000. So the word is getting out there. The family is growing. And for all of the content creators, because right now, if you're doing any kind of small business, if you're independent minded, you have to be a content creator. That's the new world that we're living in, because you have to advertise, you have to build your audience, the people that want your product or service, you have to be able to engage with them and build that relationship, and that means you have to engage through content. So regardless of who you are, and I do consultations on content, those who want to create content, I show people how to build the model that I've built. I'm building it in front of the item. And part of the thing is that I was consulting with my clients on the legal side and realizing that most people didn't have a business infrastructure set up in the creative industry that could sustain them, that they could even afford an attorney. So it's a whole way that we look, because we grew up hustling. You know what I mean? We're just doing the thing. We have the talent. And as Black people, we can no longer just be creating the raw materials and everybody benefit. And we just sitting there and we're poor and, we're struggling. No, this is the age now where we're in the information age, the age of Aquarius. Everything is online that you want to know. You can access your audience directly. I have Lion Pride all over the world. Big up Ras Bedeli in Belgium, one of our latest members of the Lion Pride on Patreon. You know what I mean? My latest Lion Pride member from Patreon from Toronto, Canada, the esteemed scholar Dr. Eleanor Wint. You know what I mean? So people are coming in from all over creation. And if you are a small business, if you're independent minded, because it's beyond small business, whatever your product or service, you should have your own connection. You shouldn't be depending on a paycheck during Armageddon time, because you know, companies are going to rise, they're going to fall, they're going to let go people. There's no loyalty to the employees. So everyone should be having their side business. So everybody needs to understand how content creation works and how to put forward. So we give thanks, you know what I mean? And that's also part of this new paradigm that's arising, where everybody's independent. So the nation can be stronger, you know what I mean? Yes, we work together, and I might be an employee on your work, but I have my own work too, you know what I mean? So there's that inter-exchange, multiple streams of income. If you haven't seen the episode that we did with Leonard Howell's daughter, Sister Catherine Howell, she talks about Leonard Howell, how he was, you know, he owned a tea room in Harlem during the Harlem Renaissance, where he hosted Pan-African meetings. And then she also talks about the fact that he owned New York real estate. He was a real estate investor. So when, you know, sometimes we hear the story of Brethren come and he start Pinnacle, and we're not thinking this was a major businessman, wealthy for his time, you know, up until the time he passed, he had a personal secretary. So Rastafari comes from that social enterprise. Dr. Knife talked about it. We're going to put up his presentation shortly. Rastafari comes from an industrious business mindset. You know, if you look at Rastafari McConnell in Ethiopia, the brethren was a noble, but he was a businessman. So the root of this, you know, comes with an economic foundation. We're returning to that. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about focus today. We're going to go into the AU CARICOM Summit. We're going to talk about what we need to be doing as Rastafari. There's all kind of things happening. Babylon is falling, yes, but we can't get caught up in the spectacle of what's happening. We have to be diligent and move, or we will go down in Babylon. We all hear about the careless Ethiopians, you know what I mean? And we don't want to be part of that careless Ethiopian. Repatriation is a must. And, you know, when we're looking at, you know, repatriation for my brethren and sister in the Caribbean, I'm not saying we have to leave the Caribbean, but just know that the Caribbean on the chessboard, you know, and we see this with the deployment of U.S. battleships in Venezuela. You see on the thumbnail, this is part of the chaos that's happening. So part of the stated policy is that the U.S. is going to re-entrench itself in the Western Hemisphere. So that means locking down the Caribbean. China's already there. So just know that when we're in the Caribbean islands, for those who choose to hold it and they don't repatriate during the Armageddon time, they're going to be, you know, you're going to have, it's a battlefield you choose, right? So because the war is going to be happening all throughout this region, you know what I mean, as Uncle Sam seek to maintain its dominance over the region, and there may be opposition. So strategically, you have to know where you want to be on Earth when World War III reach that crescendo, because World War III has already started. Don't let anybody fool you. But when it reaches that crescendo of hot war, they call it, right now we're in a cold war, the proxy war, but when it reaches the hot war stage, which it will at some point, I don't think in the next few years, I think we still have some time, but I can be wrong, you know what I mean? So we have to be serious right now, you know. This is why you hear Iman get very strict on classification. When I say that 20 and under are our youths, and big up our youth entrepreneur, Sister Siota, Princess Sitota. I'm sorry, Princess Sitota. You see the commercial we have at the beginning for City Samosas. She's taking a break. She just started at UII. But this is why, you know, we offer free advertising for youth entrepreneurs on this platform. So if you have a Rastafari youth with an idea, a business, a commercial, and they want to run it, we'll run it for no cost. So that's one of the things that we do to give forward to the youth. But once you're over 20, you know what I mean? I say you're a young adult, 20 to 40 is a young adult. I came up in the movement where you could be 40 and them calling you a Rastafari youth, you know what I mean? I don't support that. I'm a rebel against that because it absolves these grown people of their responsibility to move the nation forward. The young adults are from 20 to 40, from 40 to 60, mature adult over 60, you're an elder. And then you can have youth elder up to ancient, you know what I mean? But that's my classification here on the Lion Voice Network. People might argue, but that's how I see it. And, you know what I mean? It's so important to I that the adults know that we set the focus. The foundation is there. As I said, the pillars of Rastafari are more relevant than ever. They're more monetizable than ever. Right now, we have to build the institutions and the economic engines that will allow us to employ our youths to fulfill the mission and the vision that was articulated by our wise elders as they acknowledge the divinity of Kadamawi Haile Selassie I and the importance of the unification of the African continent. So we're going to have a nice show today. We're going to go through some things, you know what I mean? I want to start off, we're talking about focus. I want to start off the show today by, hold on 1 second here. I don't have my beautiful queen. All right, here is my producer. So forgive her. This is the African Union CARICOM Summit. So while America is splitting apart, while war is raging on the European continent, while you have warships surrounding Venezuela in the holy mountains of Addis Ababa, Ethiopian family lines up to the red carpet, welcoming the Caribbean delegates and the leading up into the African Union headquarters. Red carpet, these are Ethiopians in their traditional dress. And this was filmed by one of our Rastafari family in Ethiopia. I'm not sure the sister's name.
Hello, my sister. Yeah, we made it. Hey! Thank you. Good time. Thank you. Greetings. Are you going back? No, I stay. Salam. Thank you.
No, the idea can see this is Addis Ababa. New flower. Rastafari will be there. Already counted among the children. Terrible fire coming from the mountain. Them chant they come from the mountain, so you can't get comfortable in the west. When chanted up, just like prophecy will fulfill family. 1,000 of I and I chat. Rasco Binda, who has been on the Lion Voice Network, is here. Big up yourself, Rasco Binda. So I'm going to reach out to Rasco Binda and we'll get an inside assessment of the whole
I'm
subject.
good. How are you,
This
Ambassador?
is Rastafari on the
Oh, yes. Jesus, me.
Yes, this is Ethiopia family. This is Addis Ababa. This is in front of the African Union headquarters. All right, so just a little sample. We're going to look at some other clips as well. But again, focus. That's what we're talking about tonight. We have the political assassination in the US. Terrible. I don't even look on it yet, but me here said terrible man shot in my neck. You know what I mean? Public television, internet age. You can see HD every viewpoint. You know what I mean? We're not strange to this. You know, Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, everything. But we're in the time where what you say can get you eliminated. You know, the word sound and the power. And this also tells you from that time when you see His Majesty speaking around the world and walking with no security amongst the people. Again, this is just a demonstration of the divine power that the forces, the billionaires and the Illuminati forces couldn't take a shot after the king. You know what I mean? They have to just bow the power. You know what I mean? And for those who doubt, we had the son of Ketema Yefodo, the first part we just put up on Ethiopian New Year, Makonnen Ketema, and he talks about his father's work. And I asked him, you know, to respond to people saying Haile Selassie was a puppet of the West. And he said, no, you know what I mean? When His Majesty was advocating for the admission of China into the UN, a lot of the money and the deals he was taking was, you know, they wanted assurances that he would oppose China entry. And he said they did it anyway. His Majesty consistently defied the New World Order, the globalist factions that were trying to maintain power to bring into a true conception of world citizenship, the rule of international morality. You know what I mean? But these now remain a fleeting illusion to be pursued but never attained because of the man them refuse to give up the philosophy. You know what I mean? So, but Ketema, Makonnen Ketema talked about it in the interview. He said several things, you know what I mean, that they oppose His Majesty. He was an independent actor on the world stage because his job was to create that unity between all humanity going, and he knew that the people of all of the nations don't have no fight. The people of all of the nations are brothers. When you travel and you see the love, you know, before they're taught hate, and the hatred, remember the hatred that start to divide the people is so that they don't unite against those who are oppressing them. But the love that the people of the world show Kadamawi Haile Selassie the first, it's on film. You literally can see it every nation. This is why he had to travel so much in those latter days. We had that conversation when we talked to Prince Afsa Wilson. You know, that was one of his critiques, and we had to explain that because His Majesty came to unite the world, he himself had to go because most of the people, the news won't cover it. It's only when His Majesty come to your town and you realize this is the man, you know what I mean? And we could see the reaction. Now the propaganda doesn't work. So it's so important, again, that I and I as Rastafari focus because His Majesty put a path in place. The AU CARICOM Summit is part of that path. The tide that's sweeping Africa cannot be stayed. It might slow down a lot of impediments. You don't know CIA, NED, all of these NGOs and things are slow it down. They're like spokes, but they can't stop. You know what I mean? The inexorable rolling toward African unity, you know, and as Rastafari, we play a major role, and this is why I want I to focus agribusiness, agriculture, and social enterprise. This Lion Voice Network is an example of a social enterprise, meaning that as we grow economically, we use the profit to build our society. So it's not in a capitalist system, profit is for the sake of profit for the shareholder. They just hoard it, them do whatever. Social enterprise, profits are reinvested into the community. We will be sponsoring events, festivals, you know, cultural events. We will be giving contributions to schools. We will be giving contributions to creatives and to the workers. And we're about to start when we reach 50 people in our Patreon. We're at 45 now in the Patreon, on the Lion Pride on Patreon. And I made a mistake on one of the episodes. I said we're getting ready to celebrate our 3-year anniversary. I realized we're getting ready to celebrate our 4-year anniversary. So I started this channel October 4th, 2021. That was right in the midst, you know, a COVID, all of them things that was happening. I started the channel, and we're going to be celebrating for the month of October the 4-year anniversary. We created a 5-year plan, my queen and I, for the platform, and there's a lot of daunting days. You know, you conceive something, you conceptualize. I think we went a whole year before we got our first Patreon person. The first Patreon person, big up, he's still a part of the Lion Pride on Patreon, Ras Andre. He came in I think December of 2022. You know what I mean? So now we're up to 45, and most of those have come in the last probably year. You know, so it takes time. And I used to consult, like I said, I consult with creatives, and I tell them all, build your ecosystem. And I must admit, I didn't realize how difficult it would be to get people to support the platform, you know, especially I know so much people, you know what I mean? So I was certain that we would hit 1,000 fast, you know what I mean? 100 fast, and it humbled I, you know what I mean? We're at 45, we don't even reach 50. I had to, you know, revise my goals several times. But this is the battle that we have to fight, you know what I mean? Because to be independent, you have to be funded by your audience. If you have something of value, your audience should be vested in its funding. Because if we go to the sponsorship model, that is where the corruption come in. Because if one person writing that big check, when that one person stops funding you, then your whole thing crash. So you're gonna be biased to the what that person tells you, and Rastafari media cannot be built on that model. It has to be built on a crowdfunding model. All of my colleagues in Rastafari, independent, non-aligned media, I think they agree. And you're going to see more cross collaborations between the ones them. We just, I think we showed the, let me see, I got this image fresh from Addis Ababa. Hold on there. Honorable Priest Isaac, a lot of the item know from the Tiger's Nest. He's there. He took a delegation there. So Honorable Priest Isaac is there. Hopefully we'll be able to hear from the brethren. I got that fresh from his queen, you know what I mean? So give thanks. Honorable Priest Isaac is there in Ethiopia. But this is the thing, focus, repatriation. We cannot give up repatriation. That have to be high on the because like a Noah's Ark, you know, all of the combatants in this global war need African resources. So it becomes kind of a neutral ground. We soon get rid of the jihadists. The jihadists them soon seal up because they get their funding externally, and that funding will go dry up as the war continues, and they have to allocate funding elsewhere. So we're not worried about the jihadists, and them I get beaten. Traore, and them man, they are beat them up right now. So we're not worried about the jihadists. That is, again, externally funded. So Africa becomes a neutral ground. It becomes like a Noah's Ark for I in the diaspora. And it's important because you don't want to be in these societies that are going to be devolving into chaos, especially if you have children, especially if you're getting older and you're not so fit. Some angels, they're never going to leave with them the battlefield. I salute them angel there. I don't argue with a man. When a man tell me he's not on repatriation, I don't argue. I don't waste time, because everyone got their divine assignment by this time. That's how I look at it. So if a man tell me he's not dealing with repatriation, give thanks. Salute. I who get the call from Mama Africa to return and to build and prepare, we have to connect with each other. And again, wherever you are, whether you're choosing to stay in the region that you are, as Rastafari, one of the areas of focus that we want to address is Rastafari food security or sovereignty. Rastafari food sovereignty, or Elder Zola coined the term, and that has to be one of the focus. So as everything is going on, we need to be collectively purchasing land. We can do it through a LLC or through a non-profit structure. We need land where we can farm, and we need storage where we can store things. So if the global supply chain breaks down, we can support ourselves. Right now, believe it or not, the Amish, the Mennonites in America are probably the best equipped for what's coming, because there's going to be breakdowns in all of the Western former colonial powers, I can tell you that, and their vassal states. There are going to be breakdowns throughout that whole system. Likewise, in the BRICS countries, there's going to be attacks, attempts to destabilize all of the BRICS countries, which Addis Ababa is already going through them. Ethiopia is a hotbed of tribalism, and don't feel like that tribalism just comes up. That's intentional. I'm big up Ethiopia though for the inauguration of the Renaissance Dam. Big sense of pride that was conceived by His Majesty time. The work of the original surveyors was interrupted by the Italian invasion. And he actually took the company to court, an American company that he had that was supposed to be doing the surveying and these things. So again, there is a tide that cannot be stayed. His Majesty said that we see it's happening regardless of the timetable. We didn't know the timetable, but everything His Majesty chant for, everything our elders who are the embodiment of his legacy chant for is coming to pass. We have to be ready now to evolve these things from a chant to industry. We are going through, I say, the industrialization of Rastafari. And His Majesty said that agriculture is a prerequisite to industrialization. And by industrialization, I just mean that, all right, so yeah, we see man up in the hills and you plant your food and your ital. All right, how do we scale that now? How do we produce that food so we can feed a multitude? That's what I mean by industrialization. So it's not a Babylon terminology. I'm saying that everything we do, if we're talking about building a nation, feeding a nation, becoming a nation within nations, or being the glue. I prefer being the glue that binds this global African. We are the Pan-African glue. That's how I see our role as Rastafari right now. Because tribalism, the only power I see that combats tribalism is Rastafari. I don't see no other power that can combat tribalism and classism like Rastafari can. Has the potential to. So that is where we have to now focus. So I really am calling on the global family, don't get distracted This movie is gonna get a lot more crazy. It's gonna get crazy, crazy, crazy. But we gotta focus. Let's continue.
Babylon, your throne gone down. And
See Rasta
Babylon, your throne gone down, gone down. Babylon, your throne gone down.
That's just a quick vibes. We're gonna watch this one too. Hold on, no, not this one, not this one. Hold on. We have an extended vibration. Hold on 1 second here. So this is the red carpet to the AU Starcom Summit.
Yes, the land is thanks.
Gathering
Salam, sister. Rastafari, good thanks. The vibration is beautiful. I feel it. Nice design. For this moment, to welcome in the CARICOM delegates, Rastafari, give thanks. It's such a feeling in it. I love it.
Make sure you get me time up.
Of course. Yes, I, Sister Polly. Oh, it's nice.
Traditional alongside Rastafari community. Just again, I don't know if we were on to official staging. Yeah, let's do this.
And I'm going to travel around country.
It's fitting because it's heartbeat. And then So family, again, today we're talking about focus. And we're going to look into the CARICOM Summit, see what it's all about.
Here they come, Rastafari. Hallelujah, there is no night. Rastafari is our Hallelujah, there is no night
Yes. So yeah, them can see just the episode tonight is about focus, and I just wanted to bring some viewpoint from Zion, from the Holy Mountain, from the AU Summit, the CARICOM leaders. So we have the diaspora connecting with the the diaspora connecting with the continent in real life. And so this is so important, you know what I mean? I'm gonna let's look at some of the key takeaways from the summit. I went into Google, me use the AI, me use up the AI, good summary, because it pulls from how AI works, these AI platforms, it pulls from the official documents, different things, so it gives you a nice, concise thing. You always have to do your due diligence if you're doing research and check the primary source, but for a quick overview, I find them very helpful. And it's also, again, this is the information age. This is why there's really no excuse if you want to know something. We don't have to speculate. So I'm just going to read through this. It said the second Africa CARICOM Summit in September 2025 focused on advancing reparatory justice for Africans and people of African descent, fostering unity and coordination on the international stage, promoting investment and trade, addressing climate change, strengthening institutional frameworks, and deepening the cultural and people-to-people linkages between Africa and the Caribbean. The summit aimed to present a united front on global issues, particularly in advocating for reparations and reforms to our international financial system. Key themes and outcomes. Reparatory justice. The summit was central to the African Union's 2025 theme of justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations. So there's a collective push for reparations from the former colonial powers, which is going to be very difficult because all of their external spending is being put toward this coming war. The US has challenged all of the NATO members to increase their defense spending to 5%. Right now, we're witnessing the French government just fell because they're going through massive economic pressure on the European continent as a result of them trying to meet this military spending and fuel the military industrial complex. They've been spending billions of dollars in Ukraine to try to destroy Russia and extend Russia's capacity. So Europe right now, we're witnessing the collapse of Europe. French government collapse. The English government is teetering on the edge. German government. Likewise, all of these governments are very unpopular. And one of the big issues is immigration. So the chance of getting a reparation package through these parliaments right now is slim to none, but it's good still that we can be aligned on, because they still owe, they still have to pay. But one of the reasons that they cannot pay is because they have lost control over their African former colonies. The private businesses that were being dominated are being pushed out by China. Now Russia is increasing investment in the energy sector in Africa. The BRICS bloc is, they're locking down assets, because both sides are trying to lock in their assets for this war. There's a multipolar war, and you have the colonial powers which believe in a unipolar system. The multipolar world would be willing to work with the former colonial powers, but because of the philosophy of white supremacy that His Majesty chanted down at the UN, these colonial powers refuse to be on an equal setting with the rest of the world. They have a declared stance of dominance over humanity. And because of that, war is inevitable. And all of the countries of the world are now preparing. An economic war has already begun, with the tariffs and all of these. That's economic war. So that part of World War III is already ongoing. So this first pillar of reparatory justice, I want to put it in context again, because we're dealing with focus. And even though it's a noble and it's truth and rights, we should not be waiting on reparation, or I think that's my point. We shouldn't be waiting. We should advocate for it and chant. And because it's not going to be immediate, also the time that we put into that issue has to be balanced with the time that we need to put into saving ourselves. I will always chant that on this platform. We have to save ourselves. No one is coming to save us. Reparation will come, but I always say it'll come when we least need it, because they want to get good favor, because they're going to need to come to get trade deals for their societies. We have all the resources, so we can always say from a position of strength, you're not getting nothing till you pay it, where you owe it, find it. And that is how reparations will come. So that is how we need to think about reparatory justice. But let's continue. The key themes and outcomes, we talked about reparatory justice, global advocacy and unity. Primary goal was to coordinate efforts and ensure Africa and the Caribbean speak with a unified voice on international platforms regarding historical injustices and systemic inequalities. Economic and trade cooperation. The summit sought to strengthen investment, trade, and transport linkages to institutional frameworks and initiatives like the Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum. This is, again, focus. If we could launch a Rastafari shipping company in the vein of Marcus Garvey, I always refer to the Bobo Shanti talking about 7 miles of high water ship. And yes, it does sound very airy, the sound by itself, but the action could also be a very important economic linkage, running a shipping company between Africa and the Caribbean, right on that tide. We talked about it with Iman right that tide. You don't need even a lot of fuel coming to the west, because that tide pull the ship is like an escalator. So that's one of the things when we come together and we have enough capital that we could think about investing in Rastafari owned shipping company. Economic trade cooperation is important. Climate action. There was a call for coordinated responses to climate change, which disproportionately affects vulnerable regions like the Caribbean and the African continent. All right. Institutional reform. Leaders discuss advocating for reforms to the international financial infrastructure in line with initiatives like the Bridgetown initiative. And I had to look up the Bridgetown Initiative because I had no idea what the Bridgetown Initiative is. Again, we go to AI. It says the Bridgetown Initiative is a political and financial reform agenda led by Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley that seeks to overhaul the global financial system to address the intersecting crisis of debt, climate change, and inflation. Launched in 2022, it calls for new financing instruments, reforms to international financial institutions, better ways to finance climate resilience, and the inclusion of automatic debt suspension clauses for climate-related emergencies. The initiative aims to provide a more accessible financing to vulnerable countries for both climate action and sustainable development, with updates and more detailed proposals released over time according to the Bridgetown Initiative website. So it's a financial reform project launched by Mia Mottley. Key goals and key proposals: reform the global financial architecture. The core of the initiative is to reshape the international financial systems to be more equitable and effective for climate vulnerable nations. So that's IMF and World Bank, just to translate it into regular talk. IMF and World Bank put the people in them in debt, and them want a new system, which coincidentally BRICS is building an alternative system to the IMF and World Bank, and also the Shanghai Cooperation Organization has established a bank. Also, the AES, most importantly on the continent, has just established a development bank. So nations are wising up that you cannot depend on the IMF and World Bank. So the Caribbean probably needs to support the AES Bank, for this Bridgetown initiative. This is something that maybe Ras Tafari could advocate. Our financial. We have some Rasses who are in finance. I'm not one of them, so this wouldn't be my lane. But in terms of finance, these are the things that as Rastafari we can champion. This, when I talk about focus, it doesn't mean that the whole of we doing the same thing. It means that we're focusing on who we are as Rastafari, and we're making sure we're creating an economic foundation, and that we are focused on who we are meant to be to the world. What is our contribution to the world in this Armageddon time? That is what we need to focus on, not get caught up in the chaos and tech side, and we're watching the blockbuster movie. Yes, we can watch it and comment, but we can't get too caught up. We have work to do. Create new financing instruments. This includes the creation of a global climate mitigation trust to directly fund climate projects and new mechanisms to attract private sector investment. So this is like, the beaches washing away in the Caribbean. There a lot of damage being caused by sometime the rainy season, not where it's supposed to be. Crops get wiped out, hurricane come wipe out the whole crop for the year. Farmers have to get, finance. So these are serious things. And I'm glad that these things are being brought to the continent. Create new financing instruments. Yes, we talk about that. Rechannel special drawing rights. Initiative push for supported efforts to rechannel significant amount of unused SDRs developed from developed nations to developing countries. So we'd have to do more research into that. Include debt pause clauses. The agenda to advocate for the automatic suspension of debt repayments during all or after natural disasters to provide countries with the fiscal space to respond, which, humanitarian, that sound like it makes sense. Expand concessional finance. The plan seeks to increase the availability of concessional lower interest financing, particularly from multilateral development banks, MDBs, for climate resilience and adaptation in middle income countries. Implement financing for loss and damage. It has supported the call for specific funding to help countries cope with unavoidable impacts of climate change. And a lot of this is about hurricane relief, volcano, all of these things, you know what I mean? Context and evolution. The Bridgetown Initiative was born out of the realization that the existing global financial system created decades ago is inadequate for addressing the scale of modern crisis, particularly for smaller developing nations. It has been a significant topic at global summits, influencing discussions at the UN Climate Summit in Sharm el-Sheikh and the Summit for a New Global Financing Pact in Paris. The initiative has evolved with iterations like the Bridgetown 3.0 report in 2024, providing more detailed plans, including suggestions for new taxation measures and expanded funding strategies. All right, so we know initiatives like the Bridgetown Reform, Shared Prosperity, and this is back to the aims of the AU CARICOM Summit. If you're just joining us, we are talking about Rastafari and the need to focus. And one of the things we're focusing on is repatriation. The Caribbean and the continent is starting to integrate. That is something we should be focused on. That is, part of the strength with the Caribbean being declared the sixth region of Africa. How do we strategically leverage our collective strength as people of African descent? This is a serious talk. The broader aim was to build lasting partnerships that create shared prosperity, address structural inequalities, and uplift future generations. Cultural exchange. The summit was also served to amplify the cultural and historical connections binding the regions. So all of this is very good. Context and purpose. The summit was a second of its kind, following the first summit in 2021. I think that was in the Caribbean. It convened under the theme Transcontinental Partnership in pursuit of reparatory justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations. The summit aimed to reaffirm and elevate the political and diplomatic commitment to the AU CARICOM cooperation. The meeting highlighted the deep historical ties and shared destiny of Africa and the Caribbean, emphasizing solidarity and a vision for collective future. So, serious stuff, you know what I mean? I'm going to go to the comments and check in and see what's going on here. We're talking about Rastafari focus in a time of chaos. We had a political assassination in the US. We had drones crossing over into Poland from the USSR, threats of World War III, NATO against Russia, which is already happening, but want to try push that narrative. We have conflict in Sudan. We have all these things that are happening around the world. Genocide are going same way over. So, all kind of things are happening. It's chaos, but we cannot be distracted. As Rastafari, we have to be who we were destined to be. Put aside the petty differences and let us rise into what we have to do to prepare for what is coming. So we big up all of the ones them, and we can see a major concern of the Caribbean is also the impacts of Armageddon, which is the global scale, the hurricane, the volcano. When you look at the prophecy, it said that these things would also happen, earthquake in diverse places, one bag of something would have gone during these times. So this is all going to increase in addition to the human. It's a changing, it's a metamorphosis, the earth and I is oneness, oneness. And as the earth get rid of certain pathogens and cleanse itself, things are going to shift up. Things move around. Where desert going to get green, where green going to get desert. Whole heap of things are going to happen at the same time. So we have to be prepared as Rastafari people. We can't be passive or think just because we know a thing, we're exempt from the impact of that thing. No, you have to come together and prepare. And that is what we're advocating over here. That is why we're rising Rastafari independent non-aligned media in this time, because we have to have a collective voice and a collective narrative and a collective aim. Big up Real Prison Talk with Tommy, Lion Pride and Patreon checking in from New York City. Big up yourself, Coach Tommy. Blessed love to I and I. Brian Villagas. Yes, I, Brother Kwasi. Big up yourself, Brian. Yes, I live. Yes, we are here. We are big up Vinci, my elder I. Yes, big up all the St. Vincent family. Give thanks for the coming in. We want to, again, one of the reasons I'm reasoning with all these brethren and sistren from the different islands, so we can connect the dots. Vinci might have some banana and plant, and we can, brand that, ship that over. So, and you know what I mean, we collectively we promote it, we get with artists them to sing some song about banana and planting, and we, you know what I mean, Rastafari must come together and we start make some money so we can start build some institutions and do what we have to do. And that we are talking about right now, budget and stuff. Ja and Ja says love to all of I and I watching this live with the brethren Dejazmatch, Kwasi, and congratulations on reaching 54K subscribers on the Lion Voice. Let me check if it crossed 54 if it's true. Let me check. We not cross it yet. We're at 53,993. So 7 more subscribers and we hit 54,000. But big up yourself, Lion Pride on Patreon checking in. Let me talk about the Lion Pride on Patreon. This is a family that is being built, like minds coming together, my monthly subscribers. We just added the esteemed Dr. Eleanor Wynn. It's like you feel like you win the lotto when your elders, financially invest in the platform. Is, they don't have to call you directly and say, they love what you're doing. And she's not the first PhD. We have our Queen Mother, Dr. Chenzira, Dr. Walete, Dr. Jazanai Kush. So a lot of we, Dr. Sister and them have been supporting the platform, and I really am humbled as a brethren, when the sister and them forward and show that love and support. It give us that strength, what I mean? If you don't say no, we can't stop. We have to keep moving. We have to keep pressing forward. So big up Lion Pride on Patreon. Happy Sabbath, East Ethiopia, Yeshua Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie, I bless brethren, bless up yourself, bless up to the family, bless up Kino, Swabi, big up yourself, King. Colombia looking good to I and I Empress doesn't want to go to Africa. Ghana, Namibia, Kenya all look good to I. Coach Tommy have to work, with the family. These are the true conversations that ones have to have. But the prophecy of Yeshua, since we're talking about Yeshua, let me see, I'm mentioned, he says, flee from the city. A lot of people born Jesus, but when you read the word sound of Yeshua and some of the prophecy where him utter, because a lot of people don't take time on the prophecy with the brethren utter, and it's very relevant right now, nation war against nation, that come from Yeshua prophecy. Wars and rumors of wars that come from Yeshua prophecy. But he also says, flee from the city. You know what I mean? So at least your sister want to go somewhere, where there's nature. And it makes sense because the cities rely on trucks coming into the city every morning, bringing in the fresh food, produce for your grocery stores. If those trucks stop coming in, we're going to have a trucker, one of our trucker family from Lion Pride and Patreon. We're working on a show talking about global supply chain, and we're going to break down how things reach the shelves. And when you know the information, how vulnerable the global supply chain is, as Rastafari, we need to have bases outside of the city limits. You know what I mean? The more nature we're surrounded with, the better, because the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, the world and I that dwell therein. So from we have land, we can work out a thing, but we have to have spaces outside of the city limits. We're going to be talking about that. African Union CARICOM Summit, Right Honorable Priest Isaac present on diplomatic mission to Ethiopia. Yeah, man. Big up the Honorable Priest. We'll try to get him on upon his return to talk about some of the things. Yes, that is Ethiopia we were showing. Real Prison Talk, have you been to Colombia? Brethren is asking a question. International morality. Yes, strengthen unity. Yes, yes. We're reading the comments, family. If you're just joining us, we're talking about Rastafari focus. No, but their friends have and love the advancements. All right, Coach Tommy responding. All right, I'm going to skip over the Columbia reasoning. But I love when Lion Pride reason up in the comments, you know, because it's a community. It's like we're coming together. We're holding a joy. And, you know, that's why we have the platform. You know, the community is maturing. We start seeing regular contributors. We love that. So, you know what I mean? We skip over that reasoning. Greetings, family, love, and light in the house. Our esteemed elder, Bongo Wisely, out of St. Lucia, Ayanola. Big up every time. Agriculture is the first culture, Bongo Wisely, you don't know. Babylon the Great is falling, Bongo Wisely, you don't know. You know what I mean? Serious thing. Bongo Wisely was giving us Bridgetown. Protocol is an extension of the CARICOM 10-point plan. Okay. 10-point plan for reparatory justice. So, you know, Bongo Wisely, them and the CRO are on top of that part. So we probably have to have a CRO panel, Bongo Wisely, to talk about that reparation plan and bring some more highlight to it, you know. Shabaka, bless up, one love, peace, and unity with our African family worldwide here. Jah Rastafari, King of Kings, Rastafari, unity worldwide. Nothing comes without unity, peace, love, and unity. Big up yourself, Shabaka. You have it. You know, you're talking sense. I was watching a video on YouTube live and directly from Rasta elders in Barbados, burning some heavy fire on PM Montley's leadership as CARICOM head. They were very angry with her, Rhodesia and Fulbright Ras. Okay, our elder Johnny Johnson bringing in some hot off the press news. And if you're just joining us or if you're new here, we have, you know, one of the things, our comment section, we have some top people in the comment section of our live stream. So if you're not watching this live, try to make it to the live. We have elders like Bongo Wisely, like Johnny Johnson, regular, and so much knowledge being shared in the comment section on the live. It's real a blessing, you know. Big up yourself. All right. Okay. Coach Tommy said, Ras Kwasi, KWASI, I think that was a typing. Thanks for linking me with Dr. Jazanai. We will be working with her next week. Beautiful. So another thing I didn't mention is Lion Pride and Patreon are spending money with each other. We have 45 people like-minded. In the Patreon, there's a lot of networking happening, a lot of links being made. Money is spending. We're going to have our next town hall meeting on September 28th. I'm going to launch the flyer shortly. I want to hit 50 people. We're 5 short of 50. So if you want to be part of that 5, please. And I think I'm going to do a raffle. I'm going to announce it on Wednesday with Johnny Johnson sent us some beautiful line of Judah jackets. We're going to probably raffle them for the next 10 people who come into the Patreon monthly subscribers. And then we'll figure out what to do with the other one. We have 2 of them, so we'll have 2 giveaways. Big up Johnny Johnson for the contribution of the beautiful Lion of Judah jackets, and I'll bring them before the end of the show so the item can see them. But once we hit 50 in our Patreon, we're gonna start giving monthly grants, Lion Voice Network grants to workers in the Rastafari community, and then we're gonna also interview them. So with the interview, they'll get a modest monetary contribution from the platform, and we're gonna be voting on. So as a part of the Patreon, you'll be able to submit workers who you feel are deserving of strength, and as we grow in the Patreon, that grant will increase. And we're also challenging other platforms and other institutions within Rastafari and the Pan-African community to match those funds to that worker. So we are giving highlight, we're giving flowers, we're giving our appreciation love to the ones who are doing the work in real time. That's one of the initiatives that we're going to be doing with our Lion Pride on Patreon. So again, if you are part of the like minds, now is a good time to join with us, because we're serious. We're not just talking. We're not just up here in a talk shop. We want to be the change, or we will be the change that we want to see. We're not going to complain. We, as Rastologists, must have our Rasta scientists get involved in leadership of medicine, infectious diseases, and conflict, new Ebola outbreak, and all pandemics. And did I mention that our elder Johnny Johnson is also a medical doctor, retired medical doctor? So don't bother feel like, the level of the Lion Pride in terms of achievement, and it's very humbling. And we have everyone here from the grassroots to, the boardroom is right here represented on the Lion Voice Network. Ras Kwasi, can one day we reason on the top 10 nations with strong Rastafari communities? I think that's actually a great topic. I'm gonna definitely reason up with someone and see if we can compile a list of the top 10 strongest Rastafari communities. I would love to go through that exercise. Grenada family checking in. Sister Mabel, Chanel, leave we out. Rastafari greetings to the Lion Voice kings and queens, prince and princesses, with perfect love, health, strength, unity, and blessings. Big up yourself, Sister Mabel, all the Grenada family. First time here. Where you at? Forward ever. Yes, Rashabaka. I am broadcasting from Washington, D.C., but we know customarily we ask all the Lion Pride, just put in the chat where you're watching from. That it helps us to build our unity and to show each other and the world that this is not a local movement. Rastafari is no longer local. The Lion of Judah flag flies on every continent. You know what I mean? Can you imagine how the people who try to suppress and erase His Majesty from the history books feel when they see ones embracing the King of Kings from all walks of life, all over the world? They try to tell you, say this man is this, and spread all propaganda and evil, and yet still a Lion of Judah flag fly on every continent on the planet Earth. What a joy. You know what I mean? So the whole theme of today, family, is focus. The last moments I want to just spend on what we need to be doing. And what we need to be doing, this is the time of the light mind. When I say light mind, meaning don't spend a lot of time trying to convince people. Don't spend a lot of time trying to argue with people, because there are hundreds of people, thousands of people who already share your same sentiments. And what you need to do now is use the technology to connect with those people. That's what I'm doing here. So I don't try to convince anyone what we're saying is the right thing. You know what I mean? We just link with the like minds. That's what's happening with the Lion Pride, the Ubuntu Lion Pride, all of the different platforms, the ones them who are trotting into the Lion Pride and Patreon, it's like minds. We don't try to convince no one. So step one is to identify the like minds. Step two, again, has to be Rastafari food sovereignty. Where are we getting our food from? As an individual family man, we store food as much as possible. We buy canned food, organic. We buy non-perishable peas and them thing there, and we have them stored. We need to do a better job with water, but we store water. We go through water pretty quickly, but we have jerry can full out, we get thing, and we have put on food and water. So it starts simply, you know what I mean? Identify the people in your region with like minds. Start to meditate your individual food sovereignty. If you're not growing food, do you have a connection with farmers locally? Do you know who the farmers are locally? Incorporate some of these farmers into your circle so you'll have direct access to a food source. So we have to think ancient days now. We get very modern, and a lot of us, you just pop down to the health store, spend some money, and you get comfortable, especially I and I in the US. But there are black farmers all up and down the East Coast, West Coast. You know what I mean? So farmers are around. Establish some direct relationships with farmers, people who have a land. If you have land in your backyard, plant. Start getting in the habit of planting some food and store, ways that you can bottle and store. Even short shocks in the system, a week, too strong. Can you survive in your home if things lack off for a strong, too strong? These are the things that we want to start to meditate. But the next step is, and I gave this advice to the Atlanta family. They were talking about cooperative economics. Any cooperative economics that we do coming together, it should be agribusiness. Let us figure out ways to grow food and package food and deliver ITAL food. We're working on an ITAL standard. I'll have more information on that probably in the new year. The whole next year is going to be all around the ITAL standard and rolling out the ITAL standard. I'm part of that project. Very proud to be working on that with the RMO family in Jamaica. As the item know, the word sound ITAL come out of Jamaica. It's an intellectual property of Rastafari in Jamaica, and Rastafari in Jamaica have been leading the charge to put structure around it. So next year we will be rolling out Bongo Wisely. Other elders have been a part of that process, so we're working diligently on that. So we'll have more information about that. But all Rastafari around the world can benefit from this ITAL standard. Remember, in COVID, you had certain companies where it became multi-millionaire, billionaire companies. If you were selling masks, if you had a little humble mask company, surgical masks, and COVID came, you sell off. You couldn't keep up. In the same way, if we are selling good, nutrient-dense food at a time when the global supply chain breaks down and people need food and the external food, you and your region with your ITAL plantation now become a hot seller. You know what I mean? You can't keep anything. And we have to look at what finished goods we can produce. So if it's a pepper sauce, if it's whatever, you know what I mean? We are packaging and putting down things that can be stored. So this is things that we need to be focusing on. Those of us who are workers, and not all of us are farmers, but we might know a farmer and we can invest and we can put the structure together, the business model, establish the LLC, the admin, because sometimes the farmer brethren not good with them thing there. So this is how we need to come together and organize as communities so that, and the whole concept of a working farm where, you have a farm that you can do tours on the farm. You can, we can chant Isis, you can hold events, maybe you can keep a festival or like a show on the farm. The land space and agribusiness is, I think, the way forward. Is a return to pinnacle. And that's why on the thumbnail for this episode, I put the Sankofa bird, because we have to return to go forward. Leonard Howell had it right. Pinnacle was the model that is going to allow us as Rastafari to claim our rightful place as the royal sons and daughters, the inheritors of the legacy of Kodamawi Haile Selassie I. Having communities based on agriculture, based on cooperative economics, that is going to be the model that takes us through this Armageddon period. This Armageddon, while Babylon fall, should be a slingshot, a catapult for us to have tremendous wealth. And the way that we do that is, again, investing in ITAL. Again, Rastafari, the tenets of Rastafari, industrializing the tenets of Rastafari is our path to wealth. Everything that we chant for, whether it be herb as the healing of the nation, sacrament, whether it be ITAL, liberty, whether it be eco-friendly, whether it be repatriation. There's a whole economy now on cultural tourism of the diaspora to Africa. Where are we in this? Again, if we had a shipping company, a Black Star Liner, cruise ship line, look at the Marley cruise. Can you imagine he had a cruise with roots reggae artists performing and cultural artists taking you from the Caribbean, stopping at the islands, and then straight to Ghana during Dirty December, and you come forward, as things sell off, So these are the ways we have to be thinking as Rastafari, creating some businesses and some services around our culture. We don't have to come out of Rastafari culture to gain I wealth, but we do have to take business seriously. We do have to come together. We do have to unite. I have a special 50,000 episode I'm getting ready to drop next strong with Sprague Benz, and we talk about it. Can we get the artists to come together to do something for the global family? And Sprague knows all of the artists. So these are things that we're going to be working on actively. Because we can no longer sit on the fence, family. The Gideon is here. The question is, what are we going to do about it? This is the question that confronts us. What are we going to do about it? I'm asking the global family. Are we going to say it's not going? Am I overreacting? Everything gonna be all right, Ras? Go and do what you do. We don't need, we'll come together eventually. No rush. I don't buy that. I think the best time to prepare is now. If not now, then when? If not I and I, then who? These are the things we ask. So serious thing. Let me see where the check-in. Let me see the check-in. Yes, Ras Tafari from Brazil. Love and strength. Let's keep Haile Selassie plan. So again, family, when I tell you that the lion pride is global, people think it's just the Ras love run off his mouth. Brazil are checking. Big up yourself, Brazil. I and I watching from Atlanta, Georgia. Big up Sister D. Where you at the Rastafari, the Georgia Rastafari conference, Sister D? Let us know in the comments if the I went and how that went. Fairfax, VA, around the corner. Big up yourself. Yes, you're around the corner for true. Fairfax is very close. Something coming worse than 2019 to 2024 COVID-19. Ebola, new strain just broke out in Congo. DRC, Zaire strain, large Rasta community in Congo. Johnny Johnson's on the cutting edge, and they've been trying to weaponize Ebola for a long time, but it's because Ebola is not so stable. they can't get to spread it how they want to spread it. Because I'm convinced all of those are man-made pathogens, you know, gain of function, uh, weaponized pathogens. With organization and unity, Rasta can do what we will. Organize with nothing we can't do, forward ever. Rasta reign and rules forever. That goes without question. But the question is, are we ready? I'm going to leave it there. We're going to seal up shortly. But I'm going to ask, you know, are we ready? I'm here, one of the fastest growing Rastafari platforms on the planet. And I only have 45 monthly subscribers. You know what I mean? And I don't take it personal because we don't have a school, we don't have a health center. So the question is always, how serious are we about what we chant for? Are we willing to invest? Because I know every Ras have a flat screen TV in them house. Every Ras find money to get them sacrament. Every Ras have money to get the things what them want. But how serious are we about collective development? And you know, I didn't believe, and I am someone who is well loved in the community. I can tell the item that. And again, 45 people out of almost 54,000. And it's not because the people them are not well intentioned, it's because of the mindset, you know what I mean, that we have about supporting and about taking action. You know, we become very passive in this kind of new Rastafari. It's easy to just look at a screen, see a brethren doing a work. We have over 1,000 pieces of content on YouTube over the last 4 years. And again, only 45 monthly subscribers. So the question is, how much do we want? The things that we say we want. These are the questions we have to ask. You know what I mean? It's not coincidence that we don't have or we only have one Rastafari school. Big up the Rastafari community Antigua, and I'm going to reach out to Antigua to see if we can get someone from Antigua on the platform. We've touched a lot of the islands, but I'm hearing Antigua is the only island that have a school, a functioning Rastafari school. So we want to reason with them once they find out what they did, you know, how is it going, and also how we can support by bringing attention and having ones internationally send their resources. I said my vision, I'm going to say it again. My vision is 50,000 people giving $10 to a guest. That's $500,000. So if we can move that type of capital, can you imagine every Wednesday on the Lion Talk live show, we just ask the guests to give us their link and we just drop $500,000 upon them. That's the power that we have with our community. But again, we have to shift the mindset. Can you imagine, you know what I mean, what we can do? And remember, each individual just spend $10, which they would have spent buy a coffee, do that. So with that small amount of resource, when you're part of a collective of like minds, you can change the world. And that is what we are building here at the Lion Voice Network. I'm not going to stop chanting until we achieve that, till I see it live, where someone can tell me, Ras, yes, I see the money coming in, and it's this. And even remember, on the journey to that, even if 10,000 people drop $10, that's a six-figure that we drop on someone in one evening. We can do that. We have that power. You know what I mean? The power has always been with the people. So we have to have that confidence in ourselves. We have to reinstill that confidence in ourselves that we're worthy. You know, I'm here. My work speak for I myself. You know, when I see Dr. Eleanor Wint, big up himself, join the Patreon as an elder, I don't need no more validation, you know what I mean, about the seriousness and the quality of the work. However, you know what I mean, I still have to wait. I have to humble to my people, see the need to support their media. And once we support the media, what I am immediately going to be doing is to travel to all of these islands because we have to record our elders. We're losing our elders. Enough of the elders can't come on YouTube on a phone and set up, and you have to go to them. Some of them are in the wissy jungle, and these elders are wealth. We're talking about reparation. They have the stories of enduring the tribulation that made Rastafari respected throughout the four corners, and they're passing. Alan Skill Cole just passed in Jamaica, and it hurt because I was reasoning with the elder. My family, Jerry Small, gave I the link. He had agreed to come on the Lion Voice Network, and we were trying to set it up and call and wasn't getting through. And then I get this news. So to I, this thing is very serious, So if you can support the platform, I'm asking the family to get off the fence and come join the Like Minds. And let us move and not only just join the Patreon, but come to the town hall meetings, meet the other people who are supporting the platform and see how we can work together. As I say, money is being spent. People are purchasing the services of their fellow Patreon. We're creating a little microeconomy within our community. And we're going to be doing more and more things together as a Lion Voice community. Because again, come forward to the focus. It's all about gathering the like minds. It's not about convincing nobody right now. It's not about arguing with nobody right now. It's not about you said this and I said that. We find where we agree and we move forward on that basis. You know what I mean? We can work out the disagreements down the line, but right now it's about the like minds coming together to do the work, to focus, to achieve. And we don't have to change nothing about Rastafari, but we do have to evolve and return to the foundation set by Rastafari Konen. All right, so let me read these final comments and then we're going to sign off. We give thanks. We'll announce our guest for Wednesday shortly. So stay tuned. We're going to be dropping our 50,000 subscriber episode with Spraga Benz, international legendary dancehall artist, very irie, reasoning. We're going to be dropping that this coming strong. We have our reasoning with Johnny Johnson coming up. We have our reasoning with Makonnen Ketema. Clips will be dropping. We have a lot more. We have upcoming artists. We're going to be reasoning with all kind of vibration. So make sure that you stay tuned. Also, we're celebrating our 4-year anniversary. I made a mistake. I said 3 years. We've been active for 4 years. We're celebrating our 4-year anniversary of the Lion Voice Network. October 4th, the first episode ever was posted October 4th, 2021. So we're going to be, that whole month of October, we're going to be doing flash forward episodes. We're going through the archive to remember. I will be traveling in the month of October. So for security reasons, I won't be posting. I won't be telling people where I am. I will post in the Patreon. So Inner Circle will still get some sip of where I am, and we'll be showing some exclusive footage in the Patreon, and then when I come forward, of course, we'll be fully loaded. We'll be fully loaded with interviews, footage. We're going out in the field for the month of October, celebrating 4 years on the internet. What a thing. We just started our TikTok account. So we're on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, go to the Lion Voice Network, follow us. We're building our following on TikTok. We're taking time and building out the ecosystem, And again, I do consultations on creative ecosystem development, and it's always a multi-platform approach that we take. So definitely, stay tuned. Let me read these final comments and then we're gonna sign off. Rashabaka said, Jah works as Bob said. Soon we will find out. The more organized, the better. The results, unity and organization. If you don't plan, you plan to fail. Simple. The Lion Voice episode 120 sums up the Rastafari conference in Atlanta, GA. Okay. Oh, you went into the archive. I gotta go back and see what you're talking about. Sister D, so you better look for your archive. All right. Big fight tonight. Boxing match. Canelo versus Crawford, pound for pound. Black man, woman. Best ever in boxing. Melanated Terrence. But Crawford is my choice. Two Ras. Okay, big fight will go on tonight. All right. Maybe that's why some of the Lion Pride will not see them. Peace and love and unity. Organization is key. 100% Rasta can move non-stop. Unite, Rasta, unite. Canelo is getting 125 million purse. Terrence Bud Crawford, the winner of my prediction. Okay. Well, we give thanks, you know what I mean? Again, I'm just saying to the family, focus. I want to bring it back to the original. We got to focus, you know what I mean? There's so much happening. We're seeing a return to political violence in America. They're trying to push a race war. They're trying to push, left-right war. The war in Ukraine is going very badly. They're trying to force America to war with Russia. We have war in the Middle East, Israel striking the Arab nation, saying they're finally going to get a backbone and oppose Israel. Things are going. All of it, again, is preparation for the great war to come. Don't feel like it's not coming, it's coming. The question is, will we be prepared? The question is, the people who chanted for the Armageddon, who told the people about the Armageddon. I mean, One Love. What is the lyrics in One Love? The same Bob Marley. Let's come together to fight this holy Armageddon. Because when the man come, you know what I mean? It's right there, the song of the century. So we as Rastafari bring this awareness. The question is, will we be ready? One thing I know for sure, Rastafari media, non-aligned independent media is here. We are rising, we are activating. I answered the call of the Most High that told I to come into the space. I'm here looking for the light minds. If you are a light mind, join us. In the Patreon, we need monthly subscribers so that we can create that budget and staff, so we can scale our operation, so we can travel and record our Asians, so we can support the works that need to be supported. Why? Because we will never stop, because the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. And this is the Lion Voice.
This is a boy Ras. Make sure you tune in to the Lion Voice blog and the YouTube. Make sure you click that bell right there and subscribe on the thing, alright? I give a lot, but I ain't giving up, cause I know my time must come. Swah!
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the Lion's Voice.
Yeah, man. Greetings, Rastafari, Haile Emperor, the King Selassie, the first, the perfect balance, Empress Menin. This is first man for Rastafari Indigenous Village, recognizing, accepting, promoting Lion Voice. Yes, the voice of Rastafari, speaking about Rastafari, educating Rastafari, preserving, protecting Rastafari. Give thanks.
Aye,
Yes,
Rastafari, mighty.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega, representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice, Rastafari.
Yes, Jah people, this is Michael Shemaya representing. I say, hear the lion voice, saying it is time for the lions and the lionesses to tell their own story. King David killed Goliath with a stone, we original dread.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
Blessed love, this is Rashala representing for the Lion's Voice. Saying, yeah man, keep it locked right there, sir. On to Zion we go. Lion voice don't move slow, no. Rastafari rules and reigns, and we're going where the blessings flow. Keep it locked right there, sir. Saying, Rashala said that. Lion's Voice.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up Lion's Voice. Now put it, I Jolly for said that.
America English, real Ethiopian, me no British, go tell them. Hamarina Kwanka Fidel teach my children. Them teach me English, Amharic is my preference. Well, my heights and my black, my reverence. About touching no, I best my ye me nor. See me, ye kedes men gish teeth him ta. Pekore best my ye in the one chin the ube me dear. Tihun ye let in jara chinin. Satin zare. Kai mok is sat. It at. Lion voice. One voice. And the lion voice. Time for the lion and the lioness voices to be heard. Log in and don't log off. Lion voice. Kwasi. One. Lion voice. I it.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.